Okay, so, I don't know, about 2 years ago, I saw a class come across my email, an opportunity to take a class with an amazing assistive technology professional. And it was a make it, take it opportunity where you could learn how to use cheap and fast materials to make things that you could use to help individuals. At the time I was teaching individuals who had multiple disabilities, who were blind or visually impaired, and also had a physical disability. I thought, well, this could be really cool because I could learn how to make things to help kids who have both orthopedic impairments and visual impairments. And that's exactly what the class was for. So I took this class, and the professor happened to be Dr. Willkomm. And I learned what an amazing person she is because she can take really easy to find things that you get at your local hardware store and turn them into adaptive devices that if you got them out of a catalog, they would cost you $500, but you can make them in 5 minutes for $5. And so that's what you're going to get to learn today. And so I'm really excited that you all came and had this opportunity to learn from somebody who is really smart and really fast-paced and will teach you something really cool in 1 hour or less. So thank you all for coming, and here's Dr. Willkomm. Thanks.
So it's great to finally make this conference. I've been invited several times, and this is the first time I was able to attend. I've often had different conflicts. So I teach at the University of New Hampshire, and I also run our assistive technology program. And in January, we hired Caitlyn, and Caitlyn's going to do 20 minutes. I'm going to do 20 minutes. And Caitlyn, she's going to tell you her story about wanting to be a math teacher, but it's been really kind of cool. We've been creating all sorts of different worksite adaptations. We did about 12 since January, so Caitlyn's going to share all of that enables her to do her various work tasks. And unknown as the MacGyver or MacGyva or MacGyvet of assistive technology. I have 1,186 inventions of things that I've created using everyday tools and materials, and it's usually I've presented in all 50 states and now 12 countries. And so I do a lot of work also in third world countries in which I look at things in the environment and turn them into all sorts of different assistive technology devices to support individuals with disabilities. So what I'm going to focus on for the next 20 minutes is the individuals with arthrogryposis that I've worked with and different devices that I've created for them. And so one of the very first things that I created was I used corrugated plastic or recycled election signs that are made out of corrugated plastic. And this gentleman wanted to be able to eat independently. And so I came up with a hands-free solution. He wanted to eat an egg salad sandwich. And so here's what I came up with. Unfortunately, we don't have any sound with this, but there we go. Hi, there we go. Spring-loaded by just scoring and folding over, you can make a very simple clip, and then putting some Velcro on the bottom, and it attaches right on the top. This afternoon, I'm going to be talking about lock line. That's that black material. And so it slides really easily. And so it makes it easy to be able to pull forward, and as you bite, it slides forward. And then in Hawaii, I was working with this young child with arthrogryposis and made a bunch of different things. So here he is. He likes eating bacon and bread. And notice how I can position this wherever on the table. It can be tabletop, it can be cantilever over. And then for drinking, so same thing, I'm using lock line. This is a quicker clamp that you get at the hardware store. And so for being able to drink, and then with juice containers. And then the gentleman that I made the sandwich thing for, he said, you know, that's fine if I'm eating sandwiches. He said, but what if I want to eat sushi? And sushi's kind of hard because, you know, you have those chopsticks and sushi's messy. And trying to get a piece of sushi, so how do you eat sushi independently? And so I was at Bed Bath & Beyond picking up a shower chair for my daughter. And I went into Bed Bath & Beyond and I found these incredible microwavable plates. And I saw these microwavable plates, and all of a sudden I got this really awesome idea. And everything that I create, it's designed to be created in 5 minutes or less, $5 or less, without electricity, without glue, without nails. So you'll see all the stuff. So I want to show you next is, I call it my Sushi Susan. So I created this lazy Susan. So he has arthrograph poses. And so here again, I'm using recycled election signs, making a track for the forks to slide into. He can bite it, and then he just uses his chin to then rotate it to the next fork, and then he is independent. Now this afternoon, the gentleman who's supposed to present at 2 o'clock is not able to make it because of a medical situation with his family. So I'm coming back at 2 o'clock, and I'm going to really show you what this looks like, how do you make a lazy Susan on the bottom, how do you make this for $5. So I'll spend more time this afternoon really going into making things. So I'm going to show that this afternoon. All right, so the other thing about feeding, and so this little girl, applesauce. So this is the first time we make these universal cups out of, I discovered I was in somebody's car and I reached up and I touched the roof of their car and I was like, wow, I wonder if Velcro sticks up there. Sure enough, and it's called like Velcro. So I went to the junkyard, I cut these all out of people's car, washed them, and then cut them into 4-inch strips, fold them over, and it's just a double-faced loop material. So I can put this around anybody's hand, and then I use these industrial twist ties that you get at Lowe's and Home Depot. And this is her feeding herself applesauce. And so that was the thing. So first of all, she's looking at it going, what is that? And so can she scoop? Can she bring it to her mouth? And it's really kind of cool. So then we thought, wow. So she's like, wow, should you do that? So we thought, what if we also put in a marker and positioning the marker? Can she then draw and color with a marker? So she was like really excited about this. But then her dad was like so excited because she starts drawing, and then she starts getting some circles and squares, and she's trying to tell her dad, oh look, now I can, the drawing. And so that again is just a very simple 5-minute solution. Now, this gentleman with architectural poses, typing. How do you type on your phone? And how do you edit? And so he's got all these papers he has to do. He has to do editing, he has to do texting. And so this white material is called Instamorph. And Instamorph is these little plastic beads that you throw in a cup of hot water and count to 10. And in 10 seconds, these beads turn clear and they clump together. Then you knead it and you can build just about anything with it. So you see a lot of different examples. So he's able to be able to type independently, and then this is a microfiber tip. So that was kind of cool. So then I also looked at making other kinds of mouth sticks with the Instamorph and wrapping it around the coat hanger, because coat hangers conduct the electricity. So therefore I can electrify the stylus, so I can just slide a stylus in at the end. And then I have making it out of PVC. But then over here with the quick grip clamp and being able to position the drink. And those, because you have, with lockline, you can position anything, anywhere, which is like really awesome. Oops. So then I looked at creating a different type of attachment for the mouse to then drop into. So it's easier to be able to get in and out. And then this was for a gentleman that did everything. He in his apartment, he just rolled and he crawled. He never used a chair. And he wanted everything at a certain height. And Caitlyn's going to talk about these particular trays. They're absolutely fabulous. They've got rubber on the bottom. We use them for so many people. They're just raising up to the right height. You saw the Lazy Susan. We saw the iPad, the mouse stick, the drink holder, and having lock-line material, you can bend and position this wherever it needs to position. If it needs to be longer, you pop it apart and you add more seconds to it. And then popping it back in. So that's kind of cool. Here's a bunch of different things that we make with Instantmore. At 2 o'clock, I'm going to be showing some more demonstrations on how to these beads, what does it look like when you're working with it. It cools down in 5 minutes. It's really hard. It's non-toxic. It's biodegradable. You can reshape it, reheat it several times. But for painting, like how do you hold a paintbrush, and all the different ways of positioning it and holding things in place. This gentleman wanted to be able to operate a leaf blower on his wheelchair. And he uses his chin for driving his chair, because he can't use his limbs. So this is just lock line, here's the footrest, and then got a part-time job doing some landscaping stuff around campus, blowing off grass clippings. Then another benefit we found was that we did air hockey games. So you know those Nerf balls? So we mounted a whole bunch of Black & Decker cordless leaf blowers on the front of people's chairs, and we had hockey tournaments. And so people could use their power chair, and then we had goals, and it was really lots of fun. But the only thing is that if you're going to do this, you really should offer some ear protection. Because those leaf blowers are kind of noisy. But it's a multi-use of way you can use leaf blowers for playing hockey and also blowing leaves. So then I looked at these styluses, and they were selling for like $89. And I figured, man, I can just make my own using PVC pipe and that Veltex material. Oh, by the way, I don't think people should go to junkyards where they're cutting this stuff out of people's, because those cars are smelling really bad. So I would recommend, I found out that Joanne Techworks now sells Veltex material. So you can buy it by the yard and then fold it in half to make a double-faced loop. Flagpole brackets, and all the things that I discovered by taking, microwavable plates and turning them upside down. Hundreds of solutions you can make with an upside-down plate. Then, pages. I was seeing a lot of people had a hard time wanting to read a book and not being able to turn the pages. So again, this is recycled election sign material, but all it is just the page lifters to make it easier to hit the page and to turn the pages. So those is another 5-minute, $5 or less. We use a product called Remo 1. So it's a removable page lifter, so you can take them off and put them onto other books. And then I also put like little dots on them. And so here's an example of like being able to grip a hold of the page lifter. Also, like mounting iPads, coming with all different ways to mount an iPad, whether it's on a wheelchair, whether it's on a table, positioning things wherever somebody needs it to be positioned, and selecting material that is multi-use. Then, if you turn a page, how do you prevent the page from flipping back? So I discovered by taking a plastic straw and attaching it to the spring clip, and underneath, once the page goes over and hits the plastic straw, it slides right down because it's a very low friction coefficient. And so that's what holds the pages open so they don't flip back. So we're putting, we have this particular book that we created, funded by the Fulton Family Foundation. It was a fundraiser, and so it has all of these how-to projects step by step. Well, then when we hired Caitlyn, we thought, wow, wouldn't it be really cool if we create book 3 where we put QR codes so anybody can take their phone, scan the QR code, and the YouTube clip plays. So I have about 1,500 YouTube clips on making various devices. Caitlyn will talk a little bit more of what she's doing there. So I'm going to be showing, this is Carly Fiorilli's signs. but just seeing how that just spins, just taking a microwavable plate and turning it upside down. All right, so in this picture, he could not bend his legs. He could get underneath the table, but his feet would hit the backside of the table. So he needed his workstation to come closer. So what I did, see that white piece there? I found a paintboard at Home Depot, 2-inch paintboard, and I wrapped it up in contact paper. And then, down here, I fastened it, I created a U-mount that slides right over his workstation, and I'm using dual lock to hold it. So now everything comes close to him so that he can use his mouse, and his chin with his mouse. This is a video. So here he's typing, and the cool thing about editing is when you push down, the magnifier comes on, and he can position the cursor in front of whatever letter. Show that. Service dogs. So I noticed only like one service dog at this particular conference, but a lot of people have service dogs. And how do you give a service dog a treat if you don't have the ability to toss the dog a treat? So again, using Instamorph and Corner Guard from the wallpaper department, I created this little track. And so he takes his mouse stick, pushes it down, and then he's able to give his dog a treat that way. So we'll talk about heating and bending of Instamorph. So the other part was he wanted to be able to drink his beverages independently. And his beverages in these great big old containers. So I discovered OXO Good Grip at the kitchen store, sells those big canisters. And so I thought, I know, I'll put the beverage down into that canister. And then flagpole brackets. I'm obsessed with flagpole brackets. And being 4th of July, so here's the flagpole bracket, and it has a hole, so I have the one rack coming around here to hold the canister, and I've attached on the bottom of the station, so that he can then, if he wants to get a drink, he can reach over, but now he's like completely independent in his job. So he's the same guy I made the Sushi Susan for. So he's going to show that he can, this is how, I wanted to show how I have it attached to the bottom. And these flagpole brackets have set screws. And so I'm going to show at 2 o'clock how a 3/4 inch PVC pipe fits beautifully inside of those flagpole brackets. So here he is reaching over. So when I tried to put something really close and cantilever it up, it interfered with his vision of the keyboard and the screen. So that's why he wanted me to put it there, even though he had to reach over to be able to get the drink. So here's the other child in Hawaii and with the spring-loaded scissors. And Caitlyn's going to show what we set up for her. And then brushing teeth. Like how do you brush your teeth independently? So we started positioning and also discovered that you could rotate the toothbrush as well. Show that. I'm going to be showing this afternoon about PVC pipe and how cool it is with these pipscreen markers, because the teacher told him he had to put his own caps on at the end. And so coming up with a way he could be independent and putting the caps on. So he just uses his foot and then pushes down. Okay, good timing. So now we're going to switch over to Caitlyn, and Caitlyn's going to show some of the things that. Here we go. So first of all, well, I'll just let Caitlyn explain this one. And you're going to have to tap ahead of time because it's going to take time for it to buffer. So go ahead. So it's all yours, Caitlyn.
So I just want to start out by saying that Therese has really changed my life. I never really thought that such there are such easy ways to make my life easier, and you'll see some of the things that we've done so I can actually like function at work. So if we could just give a round of applause to
Caitlyn had changed my life.
So, one of the things I have to do at work is move things around so they have these great cards. But as you can see, I can't, like I'm bent over, it's gonna hurt my back. So Therese came up with the idea of raising the handle. So she used a PVC pipe, and she did like the cart had kind of.
Yeah, I'll show that to his life.
Okay, she'll show it to the line. But it just slides right into the cart. So that was cool. Okay, one of the big problems with working with Therese is that her light switch is completely inaccessible. So there's me trying to reach it. Didn't work out so well. So this really cool thing that they sell in electronics stores, right? It's a switch mate, and there's an app on your phone that you can download. Free app. The switch mate's not free though. And you hit the app, and it will turn the light on and off.
I found it at Bed Bath & Beyond. So now with your cell phone, she can turn all the lights on and off.
It's really cool because before I had to have somebody come in and do it for me, so I was like interrupting people's work. So this is the table that she talked about, and it makes everything easier for me. You'll see it in quite a few pictures because it makes things at my level as before I was bending my over, and it would hurt my back. This is the table. You can buy it on Amazon. And let's see, next slide. Oh, I want to be a math teacher, right? So you can kind of see the math behind me. So Therese came up with the idea of using the iPad. The cool thing about using the iPad is you can hook it up to a TV or a projector, but at the same time you can hit record. So we were recording. We didn't record this one. Yeah, so the idea with that is that if you have people who want to go back over the lesson, you can post a lesson and they can watch what was in school, what was in class that day. So this is me using the iPad to do that. So we're not talking about the iPad, though, we're talking about the holder. It's made out of Lockline and bases that you can get in hardware store. So I pretended to do lessons. So the big problem with me becoming a teacher is how do I show things on the board? Because math, you have to show how to work out the math. And I can't reach the board, or I can, but only a little tiny bit, and it's a tiny bit that nobody can see because it's not on the bottom. I also have terrible handwriting, as you can kind of see. So the idea of using just notebook paper, or any kind of paper, and working it out myself, like showing it on the screen. Most classrooms now have those screens, so it's pretty awesome. And this is the setup of it, so you can kind of see what it was like on the screen. So the other cool thing about those tables is that we have a guy who works in the lab, also is like, what, 6'4", and he was bending way over again. So they cut up electric signs, and like he's able to do his job easier, also because of those tables. So it wasn't just for me, but anybody can use them. So this is the platform scissors. When I was a little girl and I was in the classroom, and you cut up like hearts and whatever, I couldn't do that, or I could, but it was terrible. So people had to do it for me, and I don't know if she's going to show you. I wasn't able to be independent in the classroom because of that. In fact, that was in my accommodations that people had to do scissors for me. Yeah, she's Vanna for me. So it's made out of the recycled electric signs again, and these these scissors, which the blade is recessed in it, so it's just chopping at let's see. These tabletop spring scissors, they move together. So when the blade is recessed, they come together in the middle. And also you can slide it right in that small section there, and it fit perfectly in the size that we had. And you can take it out pretty easily, but are you going to show them it's right there. The tape, or the Velcro that is in the back that's blocking it.
Oh, the the dual lock.
Dual lock, there we go. So the dual lock is keeping it in place, and you just lift it up and over it, but it keeps it in place because,
So it doesn't come out.
yeah, so it stays. So those are the scissors. Okay, I can drive. Yay! Problem is I get lost really easily. So when I want to go someplace that I've never been to before, I like to use GPS, but like I said, I get lost really easily. The problem with me using GPS is I have to keep the phone in my lap, and that's kind of bad because touchscreen phones, it's really easy, they're sensitive. If I accidentally move my finger the wrong way, I hit the back button, or I hit something on the screen, and it just like messes it all up. So I've gotten lost several times because of that, so I have to like pull over and redo it. So I was like, well, Therese, is there a way to like mount my phone in my car? And I thought we'd have to get all these like weird materials that you'd have to stick out of my cup holder, and I wouldn't be able to put drinks in my cup holder anymore. But she came up with, I'll show you that after. She came up with this cool idea of mounting it to my gear shifter, which is push button. And she used dual lock to stick it on there. Corner guard is the side, and then it's recycled election signs and double-sided tape that puts it all together. So I can slide it in and out. The tension, it's tight enough so that it stays, it won't go sliding out. So yeah, and that's me with the GPS on. So in case you're wondering, I drive with my foot, and that's something that they can do if you're interested in driving. I was the only person in New Hampshire who drives with their foot at the time that I was learning how to drive, which was 6 years ago. So they had to bring people up from Indiana, or over from Indiana, or up from Florida to like argue with me, so it's a pain in the butt, but it's worth it. I like coffee. Coffee is my favorite thing. And coffee is expensive if you have to buy it every day. So I like to brew it at home and bring it with me if I can. The problem is, the mug that I have has a handle, and it's just like one of those big handles, and it's really annoying for me to carry because my hand doesn't work that way. So I would like have to like hook underneath, and I have to use my other arm like this to hook underneath the cap. Or luckily the cap's really tight, but like it was just not good. So we came up with this idea of use Instamore to create a hook coming up, and you can see it catches on the thumb. And you don't even have to hold on to, you don't have to grip the handle anymore because it holds really well on your thumb. So it can be useful for people with arthritis or just anybody who, like, your hand gets tired gripping the handle. So that's a close-up of it. And I'm wearing this right now, so I'll model it in a second. But Therese invented these bells to carry things made out of double-face loop, that's what it's called. Double-face loop, and she created these things called alligator clips, and it's just the hook. I can kind of show you, but I don't want to show you the belt. I'm wearing the belt right now. So anyway, we decided to create, again, something out of Instamorph so that way it would slide along so I can readjust them. And I carry everything in my arms. My arms are, especially my left arm, because my arms are positioned in such a way that things will stay on them for the most part. But if I'm wearing a jacket, it slides off. If I have a ton of stuff, which this school year, I went back to school this past semester, it gets really heavy, my arm goes numb, actually, my hands goes numb. So Therese was like, well, instead of using everything on your arms, maybe we can like help you figure out a way to carry things in a different way. So she already had invented this to help carry things, but we decided to put hooks on it. So the hooks are low. What? Oh yeah, okay. So this is me putting things on and off the hooks. It's really easy, and you can move the hooks really easily, so if you can't quite reach it, you'll see them next video. If you can't quite reach it the way that it is, you can just move them, adjust them. So this is me walking with it. So in the wintertime, I wear spikes on my boots because I'm from New Hampshire, and it gets really icy, and if I fall, I can't get back up without help. So I wear spikes on my boots, but those are not good on tile. So I bring a set of shoes with me that's better for inside, and I have to constantly change them as I go in and out of buildings. Got really annoying when I had to go to different buildings on campus, but anyway. So she, like, that's the carrying thing. It also distributes the weight on my hips versus my, like, carrying things in the front where I bent over. This time I can just walk normally. tunic shirt, it looks like a regular belt, like one of those fashionable. So that's cool. So let's go look at my phone. So I'm wearing the belt right now with stuff on it, so I'm just gonna show you, and I'll be right back.
So, lots of stuff on it. I've got my leftover food, I've got my shoes, and I've got my wallet. And if you saw me, did you do the video where I take things off? Yeah. Okay. So it was a little hard for me to take things off when it was on the side, so I just moved it. And then it's easy now. So yeah. I don't know if you can hear me in the back. How do you get the belt on? Well, I guess I'll take it off now. Is that Velcro? Yes, it's Velcro.
Here, I'll show you.
So one of the hooks is kind of off. That comes off. So this is. Oh, that's it.
No elastic. Nope, it's all Velcro. And I got a D-ring. I put a D-ring on it, and it just slides. So just throw it through the D-ring.
I should take off my stuff first. Anyway, that's the idea. You can loop it through, and then it's just Velcro. So I bring it over. Like I said, I should have taken stuff off first. But you bring it over, and it just clips because that's the hook, and the rest is loop. So you can adjust it for anybody in any size because you make it long enough. And it works like that. Okay.
Sorry, you should all just in the front row. Yeah, out of Instamorph. Yeah, the hooks are created out of Instamorph, and so it goes all the way around. Like afterwards, you can take a look at it, and then at 2 o'clock, I'm going to show more on how to make it. I get it from Amazon. It's the cheapest place for the Instamorph company.
So, this is on yay. So, I'm obsessed with reading and I love cheap things. So I got a Kindle, and the books are really cheap. But I like to read before bed, and I usually fall asleep reading before bed. So well, I'll show you this first. If I read sitting up, I creak my back and I'm just like bent over. So Therese was like, well, Therese has invented this thing called the iPad.
I need my iPad, so that's why it's called the iPad.
And so this one's made out of recycled election signs. It's got some Velcro on it to adjust it, and it's got corner guard to catch it. And yeah, you can change the angle for whatever. So I can now lean back and prop it on my lap. And the cool thing about the Kindle is you just tap the screen so you don't get too involved. The way that I usually read is I'm lying on my side so I can just fall asleep. And I hook my arm or my hand around the back, and then I just start tapping with my thumb. But the problem is, I'm at the end of my bed, I'm falling asleep, I drop the the Kindle, and it falls on the floor, like I crack my screen. Sad face. So this, having the mini, it's not really a pocket island, but it's kind of a pocket island. We're going to call it the Kindle island right now.
It's called the island.
Just the island. So the cool thing with the island, it's got that back part, so it's not going to fall over.
Yeah.
So yeah, and it's really easy to transport too. So if I want to read in a hotel room, I can bring it with me. Okay, so one of my jobs with Therese is editing videos and creating like ebooks in a way to show how you make some of the things she makes. So what she did is she made this long 7-minute video, and it was how to make how to make a key guard for an AAC device. So augmented, alternative augmented communication for people who are nonverbal or people who have a hard time speaking. So anyway, I'm not here to explain that. So what I had to do was split up that 7-minute video into the 11 steps it actually takes, and then there were actually 13 videos because there was an introduction and a conclusion. So I think if you saw it on there, I like sliced it up. But anyway, I'm not here to talk about that either. But what I am here to talk about is that we tried it on a regular iPad, and it was too big for my hands. So my hands can reach, but the cool thing, and I'll play it again, the cool thing about the iPad mini, which is what this is my thumb can basically reach all the way to the bottom. So what Therese had invented was the Eileen case for iPads. So she gave me just a regular Eileen case, but she put a little extra piece in it to make it fit the iPad mini. So it props up, and there's a well in it where you like create the well and you put the thing in. So next video, this is me using the case. So I can actually open it on my own, eventually. I get the iPad out, and I prop it up, and then you bring the back to the thing, and it stays like that. It's really cool. It's got foamy on it, which makes it kind of grip a little bit better, but it's also really nice on your hands and your arms if you have to lay on it because it's soft. And okay, so there's no audio on here, but what I did was I did a how-to video on making, so she's obsessed with iPads and iPhones, and she really wants me to get an iPhone, but I have a Samsung. And she's like, oh, the iPhone is really easy to make accessible. So like, I bet there's a way to make the Samsung accessible. So I looked it up, and then this is me demonstrating it. We didn't actually invent it, so, but if you want to know, we can watch the video after. So yeah, that's me. Or my presentation. Does anybody have any questions for Therese mostly, because she's the one who mentioned it.
Have you thought about patenting?
Oh, okay, so patenting. I had filled out all the patent applications. I got a patent on one of my iPad multi-use stands. And here's the problem. And as a result, I tore up all the other patent applications. The University of New Hampshire pays for all the patenting of all the things. But when you patent something, you are not allowed to teach people how to make it. You have to protect your patent. So I'm like, no, I want to teach people how they can make their own stuff. So we ripped up all of the patent applications. Also, I found out that once you present your inventions at a conference like this, you can't patent it.
Catch-22, oxymoron, you know.
Yeah, so the good thing is you're all welcome to copy any of these and make any of these, right? So that's a good thing.
No, well, the reason why I asked is my daughter also, she has all the business, and we have some that she was able to do.
Okay.
What is the process?
Yeah, the process for patenting is you see a patent attorney, but that's like, yeah, it's like $10,000. It's really expensive. But online, there are some low-cost ways. Like if you say, I want to patent my idea, there's some different kits up there that you can fill out the forms yourself and submit to the U.S. Patent Office.
And that's 20 years into the process.
Yeah, it's a long, long process, and you have a 95% chance of getting denied the first time.
Gotcha.
But then you reapply. Yes? I have one copy here. You can get it on Amazon.
Oh, cool.
Yep, so it's on.
What was the name of it?
It's called Assistive Technology Solutions in Minutes, Book 2, Ordinary Items, Extraordinary Solutions. We'll talk more about it at 2 o'clock.
Do you know where you are at 2 o'clock?
At 2 o'clock, am I in C? Ballroom? It said the DYI with PVC. What room is the PVC one?
I think we can talk.
It's an A? Okay, I'll be in A then. In ballroom A. Yes?
Best place to get Velcro, commercial Velcro.
The best place that I buy all my Velcro is, there's one, it's hookandloop.com and Tapefind. Tapefind, and then industrialwebbing.com. So I buy a lot of stuff in bulk to save big rolls and stuff. So that's the cheapest place. Yes, ma'am?
What is dual lock?
Dual lock is hard interlocking plastic mushrooms. It looks like Velcro, but it's not. So it's a very rigid material for locking. So like with Caitlyn's GPS, I don't want to glue anything onto her car. Oh, I know. You know they have easy passes. I don't know if are there toll roads in Ohio, but you know how those your transponders get attached to the windshield? That's the dual lock. Yeah.
Available at Amazon.
You can get it at Walmart, Staples, Joanne Fabrics, Target. What's the question again?
For driving,
Yeah.
the adaptive equipment in your car.
So I live in New Hampshire. So I went through boat rehab to figure out how to drive. So they had luckily paid for it because I needed a car to get back and forth to work. So they had to bring up evaluators from, like I mentioned, Florida or Indiana. So they did all that. And then to get it adapted, there's a place in New Hampshire, it used to be called Right Away, I don't remember what it's called now, but they're like more of a national company. So they did all the adaptations, and I was the first one they had ever done, or I think it was the first one that they had ever done with foot steering. So that was in Londonderry, New Hampshire, it's still there. They're really nice. And then to learn how to drive the adapted vehicles, I had to go to White River Junction, Vermont, which was an hour and a half from my house, and it was on I-91, so I got to become a highway driver really quick. I took a classroom driver's ed with all my classmates in high school, and I did all my observations. I don't know how it works in other states, but we have to do so many hours of observation, and then we have to do so many hours of practice driving. So I did all the classroom stuff and the observation in the wintertime, thank goodness. So I learned how to kind of drive in wintertime. So I did all that first, and then after I graduated high school, I didn't get my license until I was 18. After I graduated high school, I took a summer and I went down to White River Junction, Vermont, to the people who were teaching me, and I went there 3 days a week. So it took all summer to be 3 days a week. The guy who instructed me, I don't remember the names, but he was a former big rig driving instructor. So like I learned how to do it without using my rear view mirror because like in big rigs they don't have a rear view mirror.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay.
What other question? Yes. This stuff. This stuff, the cheapest place is modularhose.com.
What is it?
Modularhose.com is the cheapest place that I get this stuff at. Yeah, modular hose. It comes in 3/4 inch, 1/2 inch. You'll see some more of this afternoon.
What? You said 3/4 inch
And 1/2 inch
What is that?
and 1/4 inch. This is 3/4 inch.
Uh-huh.
So I do most of my work in 3/4 inch, but this stuff is like really expensive because remember I want to do everything for $5 or less. And I was finding that this piece is $10. And so I was like, wow, how do I make this into $5? And I discovered that I can combine lock line with PVC. So maybe just this end piece I want to be flexible, but the other part I want to be rigid. So I discovered that 1/2 inch lock line fits into 3/4 inch PVC. So I've been combining the two to save money. Because PVC is only like 30 cents per piece. Yes, ma'am.
Dumb question, but where do you find you on YouTube?
Where do you find me on YouTube? All right, so you want to type in, and you should sign up to be on, subscribe? Yeah. So it's ATINNH, so it's Assistive Technology in New Hampshire YouTube channel. And then click on subscribe, and every time I put up a new video, you'll get an email that says, Therese just put up a new video. Yes. ATINNH. It stands for Assistive Technology in New Hampshire. Yes, ma'am. No, you know, that's it.
8.
So forget that. If you click on, yeah, it's $50 and it has a DVD with the how-to video clips. But if you click on Amazon, it'll show all the different sellers, and we sold about 10,000, but there's still 2,500 books left. So you shouldn't be paying any more than $50. The other place that you can get it is IOD Bookstore. Yeah, I forgot about that. Should be promoting. IOD Bookstore sells the book as well. Yes. Well, where do I get them or where do I store them? Oh my goodness. Yeah. Yes. she dropped out of the election early, and so I called her office and I said, can I have your signs? And she said no. And so I was like, oh. So then last year, I got a call, they had a semi-tractor trailer load, asked me if I wanted, and I said, sure. Well, then the semi pulls up, and I'm like, oh my God, do you know how much fits in on the side of the semi? And they're not small people, 4 foot by 8. So I've got them stored all over campus, in my basement, my garage, in the attics, in the library, every place you can imagine. The other part is every 2 years there's elections, and so you drive around and you look at who's putting their signs up at Corrugate Plaza. You call them up and say, I understand that after the election you have 24 hours to remove those signs. Will you consider donating them? So I'm up to 138 different assistive technology solutions used with recycled election signs. That's it, the next one. Yes.
My daughter can't get the brush up this high. She can get it up this high. Anything to extend that brush?
Yes. So with the hairbrush, so first of all, Caitlyn's got an extension for her hairbrush, but sometimes you can't hold on to the hairbrush, right? And so I made, I'll show that actually, I made a video that just, you slide your hand through, and so there, as you slide your hand through, and then the extension, as far as brushing your hair.
Not the wall or anything like that.
Not the wall.
Yeah.
Yeah. But you could, I mean, if you wanted to mount something against the wall, but a brush needs to also move because you're going, it can't be stationary. So there's some creative things you can do.